Yes, Sunil sir.
That's
Hi,
how we are live now.
Okay, so shall
we
we
are live?
start?
Yes,
Okay,
please
Absolutely,
do.
we can.
okay. Thank you so much, Sunil sir.
Right.
A very warm
Thank you.
welcome to everyone present in fourth day of series of workshop on exploring food and beverage service trends 2020. I, Saifanju, assistant professor at Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School, Sushant University, Gurugram, one of the leading university in Delhi NCR, would like to welcome our distinguished speaker for the day, Mr. Pradeep Sharma, our Dean Professor Dr. Garima Prakash, and Director of Vatel India, Laudo Giro. Welcome you all in this platform for a discussion related to F&B industry, what is happening exactly nowadays, and what are the things getting changed day by day to make a customer more satisfied and to get them back on the same platform. I would like to welcome all my panelists and attendees present here to attend this fourth day of a webinar. The theme for today's workshop is reforming food and beverage service approach. Eating out and having experience of different cuisine is a trend nowadays. But believe me, during this pandemic, it was all like a dream for all of us. But if we talk about today's situation, slowly and gradually, it will get in control soon. We all are tossing our fingers for that. Opening of food and beverage commercial establishment, whether it is a food and beverage outlets, especially restaurants, hotels, fine dining restaurant in like luxury hotels, it is a very important aspect as a guest or a customer to understand that how hotel will take care of their guests and their safety with proper hygiene and sanitation and new process in F&B service. Mr. Pradeep will discuss about the new service standards and importance of service delivery with transformation in F&B beverage service, and of course about the guest satisfaction with new norms. Now I would like to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Pradeep Sharma. Mr. Sharma is holding a position of Director of Food and Beverage at Crown Plaza today, Gurugram. He is an experienced hotel professional with over 16 years of experience in various international and national hospitality chains, including IHG, Hilton Worldwide, Radisson Hotel Group, London Park Hotels, United Kingdom, and JP Hotels are few. Responsible for managing all F&B operations and for delivering an excellent guest service is a forte of Mr. Sharma. Well versed with forecasting, planning, and managing all F&B orders, training of the for the employees of F&B service and finance is taken care by him. Now I would like to call Mr. Sharma. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Saif, for a wonderful introduction. And I thank everyone who has joined on this call. And hopefully, we will have good discussion on the topics mentioned by Saif. Uh, so we shall start with a couple of or rather small facts about F&B industry or hotel hospitality industry in India. So as you all aware that hospitality industry is a multi-million dollar industry, rather multi-billion dollar industry, and that depends upon two, three main factors, which is leisure time, disposable income, and customer satisfaction, which is most important. So in these times, unfortunately, all these things have kind of reduced the leisure time, which is uh, hampered by the present situation of COVID-19, and then disposable income. Many people have lost jobs, and there are pay cuts everywhere. So it has also become a little difficult for people to manage. And third is customer satisfaction, which is the most important factor in ensuring the revival of F&B industry. And
Hello.
most of the now many states
So
are,
you're
or rather
back.
most of the India is unlocking. And I'm sorry, did we lose you? So as the country is unlocking slowly, so and now hotels and restaurants are also allowed to open in many parts of the country. So as I said, once we start getting these customers back slowly, we need to ensure complete customer satisfaction and ensure that they have the best possible time they can have, because everybody is anyways stuck at home and not exploring places. So this is a great opportunity for F&B industry. Second fact I would like to talk about is that hospitality industry contributes about 9+% to the Indian GDP, and it is one of the largest employers with about 8% of the total employment is of India is generated by hotel industry and hospitality industry. So we are one of the key contributors in the growth of the nation. So and to all the budding hoteliers who are available in this call and present on this call and the existing hoteliers, we are a workforce who contributes directly to the growth of the country. So we should all be very proud of it. So hospital industry obviously generates revenues for local economies directly when tourists spend money in hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues. And in addition to tourism, it can stimulate the building of infrastructure such as roads, public transportation. Also importantly, economically, there it creates many jobs in the industry. And one of the largest segment of or rather the largest segment of hospitality industry is the food and beverage industry, which is precisely we're going to talk about. And so hospitality industry is also it has organized sector and unorganized sector. Organized sector is about only 35% of the total, and out of that 35%, 75% space is with dine-in restaurants, and 25% of it is with takeaways and deliveries, which is growing very fast, and it's going to grow at the rapid pace in these times, especially and the times to come. So we will talk about we'll largely cover three topics from here. One is reforms in the hospitality industry. What is that we expect, and who are the key players, and what are the expectations from them to ensure that hospitality industry is revived and reformed. And second, we will talk about what are the different options. Basically, what is the recipe of success from here on. And third topic, we'll talk about customer service, which is the backbone of F&B, any F&B in the world. So the way forward in terms of reforms is there are three key players, as I understand. One is the government of India, who who is very important at this point, because they have to take the right direction and right steps uh, to ensure that we can combat the economic effects of the pandemic in this country and to the hospitality industry. Second, we would need some monetary support from the government. That means that they should announce those stimulus packages to stabilize and support the sector, which is hospitality, and also a workforce support to ensure that there are no job losses. So this is very important from government sides. Also, they should also provide a moratorium to the hotel owners or the employees, which includes working capital payments and overdraft, so that there is less burden on the hotel owners or restaurant owners, and they don't end up shutting their projects. And for many of them, they would be dream projects to open good restaurants um, in the country. And also they should provide a fiscal support, which means provide a corporate. Sorry, I got a call in between. So they should provide a 12-month corporate tax holiday to travel, tourism, and hospitality industry, so that they can have some funds available to rebuild and restructure the organization. Third is they should look at providing some direct support. I'm talking about the government. They should look at waiving or reducing taxes, and they should incentivize travel by introducing LTAs or leave travel allowances to the employees or to the people. Now, second important part is this is the role of the government that we think they should do. And second is what is recommended for the operators as in the hotels and restaurant owners, what they should do to ensure that the industry revives back as quickly as possible. So as we all know, hospitality industry has primarily been the biggest casualty of this COVID-19, and the demand is all-time low across the globe, and it is very difficult for hotel operators to survive these days. So they should also the hotel operators should look at waiving or reducing the incentive fees they charge the hotel owners, and then they should also defer some brand standard provisions which are there, which incur expenses, and so that hotels can plan their revised capex budget for current year and for the years next year in particular. And third, the most important player here is the hotel itself or the restaurant itself. And one good news I would like to say here is, or tell here is, that according to some recent reports I read somewhere, that it says that 90% of the domestic hotels in China had resumed operations at the end of February. So immediately after the pandemic was over, 90% of the domestic hotels in China had resumed operations and they started doing really well. And their hotel bookings demand is increasing, and with the business travel are the ones who are, you know, contributing it to the most. So this is a very good news for us. So what should hotels do? What should hotels look at doing, or hospitality industry look at doing? Um, uh, and the part they need to play here is they need to look at something like a stopgap plan, which is a plan in the interim to survive and to come up victorious out of this situation. So I think the stopgap plans here should include, they should, which hotels are mostly doing, they should look at bare minimum operations, which are just sufficient for quick recommencement when opportunity arrives. So whenever there's an opportunity, government declares that you can open all the restaurants, you can open bars, you can open rooms, and you can take larger banqueting. So we should be prepared to recommence, turn around as quickly as we can. Secondly is we should implement a digital and social media strategy to retain the mind share of the customers, to ensure that they do not forget us, and as soon as there are opportunities to visit the hotel, they must come back to us. So we need to be basically aggressive on marketing and social media strategy. Third is that we should look at developing a reopening plan, which most of the large chains of hotels and restaurants have already done. So these are important points that hotels should look at doing in order to recommence the operations as soon in the full swing. Now they should also look at engaging with vendors and suppliers to engage and ensure that they also help the hotels, and hotels also, basically it's a mutual understanding that to look at how the payments have to be done, and they can probably defer some payments, or probably do the payments, staggered payments, so that both of them can survive with the cash flows. Now so this was what I thought is very important for the industry, and three key players. I just wanted to reiterate, three key players remain: the government of India, the operators, basically the big chain of hotels and restaurants, their owners, and third is the hotel or the restaurant itself. So these three people have to do a realignment and restructuring, which is mutually beneficial for each other. Now the most important part, which is how do we reimagine the new normal in restaurants and hotels, specifically F&B business? What is the recipe of success from here on? What should hotels and what should restaurants do, or F&B outlets do from here to survive, or to survive and do well as soon as things become normal? So, but the most difficult part in this situation has become that the human touch is almost lost because of the fear of this virus. But since F&B business depends on human connect and touch, it is going to be difficult, and we have to be very innovative from here on to ensure the customer satisfaction is not compromised with, and all the government guidelines are followed to ensure the customer satisfaction and safety. So I think there are three plans. There are three plans basically, which can help restaurants or F&B space to revive from here on. So So plan A, the first plan, which I think is they should focus on hygiene and sanitization, which becomes the top priority now, and which and this is one space wherein uh, no one can falter, because this can seriously risk customers as well as employees' health. Now, important is there was so I am referring to one survey done by one of the companies, and they say there is one sentiment which is unanimous and across all the cities, that people would only prefer to go back to those eateries which ensure highest health and safety parameters, and have which can or that can basically rebuild a trust in customers' minds that they have the best possible hygiene and sanitization standards and procedures and mechanism to ensure that there is safety in the dining space or in the restaurant space. This is where I feel the restaurants the restaurants that are situated or located inside the hotels have a little bit edge over the standalone restaurants or smaller chain restaurants or unit restaurants, because quality hotel chains are already following the highest and the most strict health and sanitization standards possible to ensure the guest safety and the customer safety. And so I will talk about IHG. In my company where I am employed currently has rolled out many programs which to regain the customer confidence back. That includes just to name a few, something called IHG Clean Promise, IHG Culture of Clean. With IHG, I mean Intercontinental Hotels Group. So IHG Clean Promise is there, which has been rolled out. Then IHG Culture of Clean has been rolled out. IHG Meet with Confidence, which is specifically related to meeting and events in the hotel. So these all these programs, and there are many other programs, I just named few, have been rolled out to ensure that we follow the highest possible health and sanitization standards, as well as the customer when he or she walks into the restaurant or the hotel feels very comfortable and feel assured that they are very safe in the environment which hotel is providing them. Now, when it comes to customers walking into the hotel or restaurant, we have there are processes that sorry hotel has initiated, which includes, as I said, sticking to the promises that brand makes, which is clean promise and culture of clean. So we ensure that there are best hygiene and cleanliness procedures that are being followed. Every guest who is walking into the hotel is screened at the entrance. So screened for temperature or any possible visible symptoms if there are any, and so that becomes one screening there. And then specifically in terms of meeting and events, which is banqueting space, we have devised a pre-arrival checklist which is shared with the meeting host or the event host, and we request them to have it filled by the participants, which includes some details about their, a little bit about their travel history, and their temperature and all those things, so that we 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 can be sure that people who are walking into the hotel are not carrying any symptoms or anything which can danger anybody's health inside the premises. And now, as everyone knows, that technology has made inroads in the F&B industry as well. So and I recommend many other restaurants as well to have digital menus. Then they could have QR code scanners. They should encourage contactless payments. So all these things are very important to minimize the human touch, and also to comply to the social distancing norms laid out by the government. And some of the best practices that hotels or restaurants do, uh, that kitchens are disinfected after every use, as in after every 2-3 hours. Then the restaurants are disinfected according to the set times, and then the team members wear PPE kits as per the standards laid by governments. by government, so that everybody is safe, safe in the hotel and in the hotel premises. So this was first plan. So basically, first plan, the gist of it is that we the gist of it is that we have to ensure that the health and sanitization standards are given the top priority, uh, and um, and also we need to market the same aggressively so that customers can know that hotel or this particular restaurant is making efforts to ensure safety for everyone, and then they can have some bit of confidence to come to the hotel. And then when once they walk into the place, then it completely becomes service teams responsibility to ensure that they are served with the best possible care and best possible standards, uh, and have a wonderful experience so that they can come back to us. Now, second plan or second point that I wanted to talk about quickly was that what is that now, in case people still don't walk in, they don't feel comfortable walking to the hotels. What are many hotels and restaurants doing, particularly larger restaurant chain? What are they trying to do now? Because everyone is it has to survive, and there are many people employed, plus there are business owners, there is money, there is huge money at stake. So there are multiple stakeholders in the F&B industry. So there is one thing that many restaurants and restaurant chains, I would say, are trying to do is they are trying to work on a hybrid model of working. So hybrid model of working, I mean, is now what they are doing is, since many restaurants are closed and because of the business demand as well. So and there are many chains who have multiple restaurants and multiple kitchens. So what they are looking at is they are now converting their closed restaurants or closed kitchen into cloud kitchens, and they are supplying within one city, and they are trying to supply food from one restaurant, or rather one kitchen, to other restaurants, other restaurants in their chain. This is helping them in basically, this is a very cost effective measure, because they have to operate with minimum manpower at one place, and then other manpower in the running restaurants can also be reduced because of this. And cloud kitchens are very apt for this, because uh, because as opposed to dining spaces, where surface exposure is high due to seating and customer walk-ins, cloud kitchens do not have that. So they are very easy to maintain also. So this is something which many restaurant chains are turning into. And then with this, there's another advantage, is that one restaurant operator can handle multiple brands coming out of a single kitchen. It will save them money. It will also utilize their funds more effectively, and it will also compensate for wages to the employees who are working in their restaurants. And since food delivery segment is has become very important, as I said earlier, food delivery segment is accounting to about 25% of the total organized restaurant sector, which is 35% of the total. So 25% is a number, and it is growing very rapidly, because people are still not having that confidence to go out and dine. So they feel more comfortable sitting at home and dining at the comfort of their own house. And that is where delivery model is growing big time. And it is also helping restaurants to generate some revenue in order to run the operations and keep them afloat in the market. And these two things are very interlinked. So cloud kitchens are helping them to they can manage multiple restaurants and multiple cuisines from one kitchen, which is a cost effective measure, and it will also help them to reduce the costs. And then with delivery models, with many online players, so many platforms like Zomato, Swiggy, Dine Out, even Magicpin has jumped into the fray, and they were already doing well. But after this situation, or during this situation, they have also come up with many programs to ensure the customer feels safe if they wish to order from any particular restaurant. So they have this security max security tags and other tags, which they label the restaurant, so that the customer feels confident in ordering from that particular place. So this is helping them both in terms of growing their business. So they obviously get their money from the commissions that they charge, and the hotels get to reach to the customers on a larger scale, as well as they take away the difficult part of delivering the food, because delivery is being done by these platforms. So this is something very, very important. So as I said, first point being the health and sanitization standards and procedures. Second point being this cloud kitchens or a delivery model of working. And third, which is the most important part here, becomes um, this part comes into play when the customer walks in. So if we follow the highest possible hygiene standards, and we will do an aggressive marketing of the same along with innovative menu offerings. These days many hotels and many restaurants are offering those immunity boosting drinks, which is a great initiative, I would say. And then they're offering many health foods which have positive impact on your health. So when all these things are coming into picture, along with that, delivery platforms are helping to reach to the customers at home. But uh, with all these innovations that hotels are rolling out, and obviously they will keep rolling more things in the times to come. If the customer walks in, what is that we need to do? What is that that will retain the customer? What is that will have them come back to a particular place? So for that, we'll have to go back to that old saying which we are taught in the very initial years of our colleges or hotel schools, that customer is king, and it is in fact very, very true. And we have realized, everybody must have realized it, specifically now when the customers are basically nowhere to be seen because of the current situation. So now the customer who comes into the restaurant to dine at the space in the restaurant have to be treated with the highest possible care and and uh, and standards. Now there are, and once the customer walks in, what is that we need to do? So I feel that most important thing is we have to look at a multifaceted strategic approach to ensure that the customers feel comfortable and confident in the restaurants. So what are these key parameters? I feel there are the all these parameters are circling around one thing or revolving around one thing, and that is guest satisfaction, because this is the key to success, most important key to success. That has always been, and from here on, it's going to be the number one priority, no matter what. So what are the things that a restaurant can focus? First thing I feel is obviously food quality and the variety. With the limited set up, what best variety of food they can churn out or they can dish out uh, will be great. And food quality, irrespective of the fact that there is there is slowdown on cash flows and there are limited spends available. But I feel food quality is one aspect no restaurant should compromise, no matter what, because this is what this F&B industry, 50% of it is food and 50% of it is service. So 50% food is the most important factor here. So food quality is one point which makes it very important for customer satisfaction. Second is, I think, is service and personalization. We should look at ensuring that we follow, uh, we we give the best possible service to a guest. And we should look at you know uh, small little touches, as we say in the hotel industry, something like a surprise and a delight. If the guest has ordered something, there's no harm in giving something at the end of the meal, maybe a small little pastry or maybe a drink on the house, a special immunity booster drink which will feel. A special handwritten note could also help. We thank you for your patronage, but not the printed ones, the handwritten ones. So that is how we would want to retain the personal touch, which or human touch, which is gone kind of missing, which will be missing in the industry for at least 6 months to 1 year from now, until there's a vaccination and this pandemic goes away. And third most important factor here becomes I'm sorry. Third most important factor here becomes is guest communication. So we should look at communicating to the guest by various means and modes, which includes just to bring them inside the hotel. We should be very aggressive on our social media strategy, our marketing strategy, and we should be very tactical in where we need to focus, and where is the customer base that we need to target and communicate so that they come back to us. And once they come into the hotel, we should ensure that we talk to them, and obviously maintaining the best possible hygiene, social distancing standards and following the norms, and speak to them and try and understand the sentiment and the guest feedback about the food and services they have experienced, and if there is anything that they would want us to change or add on or anything like that. Third, and the fourth most important factor that revolves around guest satisfaction becomes is teams training. Now that every restaurant is operating with very limited team members, we need to look at ensuring that we our team members are trained to the best possible standards. They know the revised SOPs. They know the service standards. They know the government guidelines and rules about social distancing and how to serve. So all these things are very important. So as I said, team training, which was always very important in F&B industry, now I think becomes one of the top priorities to ensure that our team members are able to communicate to the guest what we are trying to do as a hotel or as a restaurant. They should be able to communicate to the guest that we are following all the best possible standards that that can be followed to ensure their safety and the best possible hygiene, and the customer feels confident and they feel comfortable coming back to the restaurant. And last but not the least, the most important factor which contributes to um, the guest satisfaction is every single guest comments, basically feedback. I was talking. Feedback is something we need to be very critical about. Any feedback that comes to us, positive, that will be great to ensure that the guest will come back. And if there is a negative feedback, if there is anything that customer suggests, we need to kind of deep dive into it, understand why it is said, because as I said, the occupancies are very low in the restaurants these days. There are less people walking into the restaurants, and if we have a negative comment and if we are not able to make it right then and there, then we have high possibility of losing the customer to some other restaurant who's probably doing a better job than us. So we have to look at ensuring that feedbacks are taken very seriously. They are spoken about. The guest is spoken to by the most senior manager or management, probably by director food and beverage. If he is available in the hotel, guest should be spoken to, and ensure that they are given the best possible satisfactory solution to their issue or their problem, and ensure that the customer comes back to us. And there are small little things that you can do in terms of guest satisfaction. We can look at offering varieties. We can do weekly cyclic menus. We can look at giving more healthy options. We can look at giving immunity booster drinks. We can look at you know uh, we can look at doing the best, utilizing the best possible raw materials and produce the best quality food. So these are the important factors which, as I said in the last point, that customer is the king. And if we ensure the customer feels like a king, feels comfortable, feels cared for, they will definitely come back to the hotel. So these are the points I thought uh, I should share with you with my experience. And then I'm open to any questions if anybody may have. Please feel free to ask any questions that you would like to ask, and I
So
should be
one thing I
happy to.
want to just clear on this, like, what about like the receiving area policies and procedure now in a hotel? Has it changed? Because the raw material where we receive, that is the most critical area where the contact between the the supplier and the the hotel staff, the first contact. So how you are dealing with the receiving part so that you make sure that everything is well maintained and no infection or no disease is there or a kind of any bacteria in that particular lot or material. How you handle that particular area, like?
Absolutely, sir. That's a wonderful question. And I would like to tell you that there are very clear guidelines laid out by FSSAI regarding receiving processes in the hotel. And I can tell you few points which includes, obviously, social distancing is the one norm, and before they deal with any vendor, so hotel has marked now base, and only staggered receiving is done. The vendors are called at different times so that there is no, the people don't gather at one point in time. Secondly, is there obviously their hands are sanitized. Third most important part is what our hotel is doing is we quarantine everything that comes into the hotel for 24 hours. So
Okay.
whatever
Each
we
and every
receive, so
each
we
and
have
every
to
product.
every product. Every product
Oh,
has to be quarantined for 24 hours, specifically all dry items, and they're quarantined for 24 hours. So then planning becomes an important part in that. So we plan our ordering like that, that we receive it in time, and it can be quarantined for 24 hours, and then it is utilized to eradicate any possible spread of the virus in case if it is there.
but the people, like if you talk about a banqueting, the in restaurant we can handle, we can maintain the distancing, social distancing. Okay, like like we can putting a signage in a long table. Okay, one can sit here, another person can sit there. So there is a gap between the two guests. So, but how difficult is for you to handling it in a banquet function? I know the gathering is too less. 50 is, I think, is permitted to to entertain. So, but still, how you are maintaining, that all norms in the banqueting part in the event nowadays, because still the fear of, the virus is on everyone face. So, how you are dealing with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there are, see, what we have done is we have put, and not us, I'm sure all good hotels and restaurant chains have done it, or banquets have done it. So there is a screening process which we follow. So every customer, since the gathering is low, it can be easily managed now at this point in time, because maximum gathering that is allowed is 50 people in one event. And we have a large banquet hall. So to manage inside the banquet inside the banquet hall is not a challenge. But yes, as I said, that IHG has rolled out a specific program which is pertaining to meeting and events, and we have to follow that program. In that program, it talks about screening the customers at the entrance, and in fact, before that, at the time of taking the event only, there is a checklist that a customer has to comply to, which includes a consent of taking temperature of every guest who's walking in, and some hotels have even gone far, and they ask for the entire guest list where they're coming from. So in case if somebody is coming from a red zone or some area which is a highly infected area, so uh, all those factors are there in place, and we are working on it. And actually speaking, at this point, it's not a big challenge. For 50 people, it's all this is very easily manageable. But yes, when the government allows more people to gather or larger banqueting events, then we will have to kind of re-strategize and relook at how we um, manage
Exactly.
those things. Once they come inside the restaurant, inside the banquet, uh, it's all, we have sanitizers placed on all the tables to ensure that there's personal hygiene. The buffet, when there's a buffet, we ensure that buffet is not very confusing. Basically, it starts from one end, it ends at one end. So there is the layout has been changed like that. In our hotel in particular, we have created um, a shield, so which can be which can be fitted on the table to ensure that there is space between the guest and the server. And the buffets are assisted buffets. There are no buffets wherein guests can help themselves. So everything is assisted by the team members. So all those actions are in place, and they are working pretty well as of now. And there has been no case wherein which we have actually faced challenges. So basically, the point is we have to ensure the host of the event is made very, very clear about all the strict government guidelines and all the hotel policies, so that they also don't get any surprises at the end, and they have the confidence of calling their guests or their relatives to our place.
Great. Like in a cafe G, it's a 24-hour coffee shop. So there will be a flow of a guest. Like it's very frequently guests are coming. They are having a cup of a coffee or a tea or a meal. So how you are like taking care of a sanitization of that particular the area or table or the where guests are sitting. So how you do that on a particular time interval, or like after every the turnover of a table you will sanitize that particular area where the guest was.
Absolutely. So see, Saf, here, the first important point here is government has laid strict guidelines that you will have to reduce the seating to 50%. So basically, the distance between two tables, first of all, has to be managed, and it has to be, we follow the maximum, so we follow a 6 feet distance between two tables. Now coming to your question, that how do we sanitize? See, when the restaurant is open, every single table is sanitized, and after that, there are no setups on the table these days. Once the guest orders, the food comes, and the cutlery, crockery, everything will come bare
It's an
in
empty
the bare
table. Okay,
minimum
just the button
quantity.
was on the center.
Yeah, No, there is no center appointment. There are no table mats. There's nothing, and every hotel is
Okay.
following the same because
Okay.
yes. And once the guest orders, everything comes at that time. And once the guest leaves, the same table is disinfected. And about the soiled
Okay. Yes,
crockery
I
and
can hear
cutlery,
you.
it goes back to the dishwash and it's clean there.
Okay, it means the guests sitting to the next table or in that particular area, they are satisfied with the service and the standard of sanitization and hygiene, like everything is taken care of.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I said there is nowadays everybody is focusing on contactless dining, which means that there are no physical menus. There are QR codes. We have printed them nicely on in a nice
So it,
frame,
it's
which
there on,
shows
on,
those.
on every table, QR code.
No, no, no. We don't keep anything. There is nothing on the table. When the guest arrives, then only that QR code menu is taken to the guest. Guest scans it
Okay.
from their phone from a distance, and then they get to see the menu. And same way we do the payments also. These days, you can do UPI payments and you can do Paytm and all those things. So guests do use that, and I think it's most comfortable for both the parties.
So can you just share me one challenge during this on a first visit of a guest to your restaurant or a banquet? Some norms or some with instruction not following by the guest, they are not ready to accept that. So have you faced any such situation like now?
Yes, quite honestly, we have in the restaurants, it doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen because the government norm also says ideally we should have table of twos. I'm talking about the restaurants. You should have table of twos. But if there is a group that is coming together, they can sit together. There's no problem in that. So if I'm going with my family with 4 or 5 members, we can sit together. There's no problem with that because we are coming together. Now, when it comes to, there is no challenge in the restaurants as such. But yes, sometimes the challenge comes in banqueting space wherein we have social events, and and then we have requests like we have to click a family photo, and we don't want to
Okay.
click it in the mask. So then they gather together. Sometimes it becomes very difficult, as, although it is communicated in advance to them that that people should also come to eat at staggered times. Let's say if there's an event of 50 people, 5 people should come together, and then next 5 people should come together in 10-15 minutes gap. So all that sometimes it becomes difficult to manage. We are a family, we want to eat together. So all those things are challenging, but yes, we try and manage the situation the best possible, in the best possible way we can, depending on the customer, how he reacts to things. But as I said, we have this IHG Meet with Confidence program, which has a pre-arrival checklist, which is shared with the guests, especially the host, and
Mr. Pradeep, we cannot hear you. Maybe some, I think some.
No, I think I got a
Yeah.
call in between, but as I said, yes, but as I said, we have this IHG Meet with Confidence program, and a standard wherein we share a pre-arrival checklist with the guests, which includes the process of the temperature screening, and and their addresses where they're coming from, and it also talk about staggered buffet timings. It also talks about that the customers have to ensure, the host has to ensure that his guests maintain social distancing. So all these things are communicated well in advance. But yes, there are challenges sometimes, specifically when there are marriage events. There are challenges,
True.
yes.
Great. Like you have touched almost all the points, which is very much required nowadays to know about how it is happening and what all efforts is taken care by the the management as a professional in a hotel. If it comes to the F&B service part, because the service area is the area where there are more the people are coming to contact with each other and the and the server also. So it's a very important area where we can go and we can enjoy nowadays. But because still everyone is not stepping out, yes, there are people, but it will take little time to get things on the platform. Of course, everything will be there, and we are waiting for the day when you are calling us. Okay, sir, we want some students for event. Like
Absolutely,
we
absolutely.
need
No,
someone
I
to
think,
support that. So yeah,
yeah, I think event space will bounce back faster,
it will take a bit time.
specifically
Yeah.
in the times. But yes, at least bare minimum 2 months from now.
True, minimum. So let's have like I hope I think everyone is waiting for like how we will gonna celebrate a 31st. How we'll do the 31st Eve or a Christmas Eve. What will be the picture that
Absolutely,
time?
absolutely. People have to just get used to the new normal, and
Exactly.
as I said, our responsibility as a service provider, is is to ensure that the guests are taken care in the best possible way, and they feel very confident and safe in visiting our facility.
True. So now I just want to open a forum for question and answer from our panelists and attendees. Attendees can write their question on a chat box, and they can ask also and our panelists. Okay.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes, please.
sir, has the cost gone up regarding the training part also? Because now I assume the staff, the numbers have gone down, and
Absolutely.
and then you need to service the people as well. So and you need to train the staff as well. So how long was the training part for the staff, especially the F&B and the housekeeping as well? Because housekeeping has now a big role to play.
Absolutely. Housekeeping has become, or rather, it was always a very, very important department. But then now, after this situation or in this situation, they are the most important team members because they have the most amount of responsibility to ensure that the room is clean and disinfected properly. It's the most hygienic place to stay. Yes, but as far as training costs are concerned, what we look at now, everybody is looking at innovative way of reducing costs. So what we look at doing training is nowadays, thankfully, technology has advanced so far that before the hotel opened, we were continuously doing trainings on all the new guidelines and norms that we were receiving from different agencies. So we were getting guidelines from FSSAI, we were getting guidelines from Ministry of Home Affairs, then the local bodies, and then Ministry of Tourism. So we were all utilizing the technology, and it is pretty much free these days. So we were utilizing the technology and doing the trainings. In fact, in the hotel space also, we don't encourage people gathering at one place. So we do trainings on the phone itself, or with on Zoom call, or whatever other means are available. And in fact, our meetings are also happening that way these days. So if we have to lead by example, so we ensure that we don't give any opportunity to the team members to gather, be it training, so that there is a clear message to the team that we have to be in the best possible shape, and we have to follow the best possible standards that are to be followed.
Thank you. So are we using the digital menus now or no?
Absolutely. From the day restaurants have opened, we are only using digital menus. There are no printed menus because obviously they have a high chances of contamination. They go to multiple hands, so there are no physical menus available in any of the outlets. We are operating 2 outlets at the moment, and there are no digital menus. In fact, even IID also there is no. So 3. So even IID there are no physical menus, only digital menus. And trust me, they're easier to handle, I would suggest, because they're easier, they're cost effective, and they're very safe to use.
You. But the digital, one more thing, the digital menu is is it placed on the table or have they been displayed somewhere like?
See, no, there's nothing placed on the table, as I said earlier. We keep the table absolutely clean, and there's nothing on the table. And menus are only provided when the guest comes in to dine. So usually, as a process, what we do is so there is a QR code which is printed and nicely framed. We have to, being a 5-star hotel, we have to also ensure that we do the best possible quality. So it's nicely done there, and we show it to the customer. Customer can actually scan it from a distance itself, and then the menu is available on their phone.
Okay.
And there are many restaurants who obviously have already digital displays in place, so they are displaying their menus there also. But we are not doing. We are only using QR code as a means of menu at the moment.
Thanks a lot. You are
Most welcome.
that answers my question. Saif sir, you are muted.
Okay, sorry. Sir?
Yes, please.
Is there any guideline from the government side also, like related to the time operation of the restaurant or outlet, like till this time you can operate or you can entertain a guest up to this time? So is there anything like that also nowadays? Or
See,
it's like that
not
previously we open like late night or in F&B talk about it, we can take order like 11:30. What is the last deadline from the restaurant or as per the government? So it is changed or the same?
absolutely. So so we were following the government's orders on the curfews. So if nowadays curfews are lifted at night also, so there are no curfews, so we are operating the restaurant on standard times. So, but we are not really opening the restaurant late night because one, we don't see much traction at that point in time, or rather much mileage at that point in time, which is specifically after 11 to about 7, 8 in the morning. And then there is no point incurring unnecessary cost by opening the restaurant because we have to switch on ACs and lights, and these days cost has become paramount. So we are not doing, but there is no guideline by the government. We had to stick to the government curfew guidelines. So earlier it was 9 till 9 p.m. So we were only operating restaurant till 8 p.m. so that team members could close and go home before 9. And then they said night curfews will start from 10 p.m. So we increased the time to 9 p.m. Now there's no night curfew,
No
so we can
restrictions
operate
like
the
that.
restaurants to. Yes, even banquet events, there were no evening events happening. All the events were happening in the afternoon because there was guideline that restaurant or there was night curfew guidelines from 9 p.m. onwards. So that time now banqueting events are also happening in the standard evening times, and restaurants also are operating in the standard times.
So it means we are getting the things on the right track slowly, slowly.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, we are going on the right track. But unfortunately, as I said earlier, customer is the way forward. If we have to do the best we can to ensure the customers are there in the restaurants, because our everybody's survival bread and butter is the customers. End of the day.
Exactly. And we have faced a lot of problem or difficulty in surviving in past 4 5 months. I think was a very tough
Yes,
situation or tough days for our industry. If you talk about especially hospitality industry, because it's totally dependent upon the guest, and that is the thing
absolutely.
which
We
we
are
cannot provide online. Other things we
absolutely,
available online. That this is the thing which we cannot provide online. We can get the revenue and we get the customer. Talk about the hotels. It
absolutely,
was a very tough time. Yeah.
absolutely,
So
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And see, we are one of the largest employers in India and in the world. So you can, I'm talking about hospitality industry. So people have faced very difficult times. We are all very, very hopeful, and we are hoping with fingers crossed that things get back to normal as soon as possible, so that we can call people back, and we all work in full flow.
true, sir. True. It will come soon, sir. We all are crossing our fingers. Any
Hopefully so.
questions
Yes.
from our panelists and attendants?
Uh, uh, Pradeep sir, has the menus undergone some change? The variety, like it's on the lesser side right now, or like something else?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. See, we have done the menu downsizing. Rather, I would say we have done the menu right sizing, because it has a lot of factors. One is you don't have many customers, and if you have a lot of items in your menu, then you have to keep the raw material accordingly. So it takes your cost high or up. So there's no point having let's say 100 items in the menu when there are not many customers who are there to eat. One, and two, not to you know not to incur any unnecessary costs. So menus have been reduced by about 25%. And we have actually, in our hotel in particular, we have kept important, or rather what we call as star items in the menu, which ask for and they like to eat. And then now that we don't have to print the menu, so we have that cost effective measure in hand. So as soon as there are more footfalls, there are more demand for more variety of food, then we can easily change it digitally. It hardly takes like 2 hours to change the menu.
You,
Well,
any question? Sir? Sir, you're muted.
Any other questions, sir? I think sir has cleared all the doubts, all the question has, no one, he has not given chance to ask question because he has already covered all concerned topic before we ask a question. He has covered, touched all the topics related to the F&B service and new norms and standards. So what we need to follow, our hotels are helping us to give a safety in a safe environment during this pandemic, and hope so we all get the opportunity to go and enjoy in that particular establishment for celebrating our events and functions. It was really a wonderful session, sir. You have contributed much for today's session. I would like to thank you for sparing time and giving such insightful information. Thank you so much, sir.
You're most welcome, Saif. And as I said, as a closing remark, I would like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to talk on this platform. And it was, to be honest, a learning for me, something that I had or I was wanting to do for very long. And so the opportunity came by you. Thank you once again
Thank you.
for
It,
giving me this
always a
opportunity to
pleasure,
talk.
sir. Always a pleasure.
Most welcome, sir. Anytime.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
sir.
All. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending the session. One more day to go. Tomorrow is the last episode of a series of workshop. Same time, 4 o'clock, same platform. So tomorrow, see you everyone there. Till that time, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay connected. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our panelists and our attendees. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you
once
all.
again.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Stay safe. Bye.
You too, sir. Take care, sir. Thank you.